You must immediately assess your surroundings after the time machine crash. Stay inside the wreckage for 5 minutes to regain composure. Check yourself for injuries, paying special attention to head trauma and bleeding. Your survival depends on being physically able. Your crashed time machine may be dangerous. Sparking electronics could ignite dry vegetation. Exit carefully if safe to do so. Scan the horizon for immediate threats. The Pliocene epoch had large predatory birds and early big cats that could view you as prey. You need to gather any useful items from the crash site within 15 minutes. Focus on your blade, cord, steel, and emergency radio. The Pliocene air has slightly less oxygen than you're used to. Take slow, deep breaths to prevent hyperventilation and panic. Look for cacti and succulents. They will be your primary water source. You must locate at least 3 large specimens within view. Your steel tool can be used to cut into thick, succulent leaves. The liquid inside provides both hydration and basic nutrients. Be cautious of unfamiliar plant species. Even if they resemble modern plants, their toxicity levels could be very different. You should establish your position relative to key landmarks. Mountain ranges and unusual rock formations will be your navigation points. Within the first hour, you must find or create shelter. The Pliocene had extreme temperature swings between day and night. Use your cord to lash together fallen branches and cacti pieces. Create a lean-to shelter against a rock face for protection. Your emergency radio won't contact the future, but its solar panel can still create sparks for fire starting. Gather dry vegetation and small twigs. The Pliocene atmosphere had higher oxygen levels, making fire easier to maintain. You must create a fire within 3 hours of crash landing. Temperatures can drop dramatically after sunset in arid regions. Look for signs of water sources. Dried riverbeds often indicate seasonal water flows. Follow these downhill. Your tracking skills are essential. Learn to identify prehistoric animal prints. Avoid areas with large predator tracks. Small mammals and reptiles will be your best food sources. Set simple snares using your cord near burrow entrances. You should test all water sources with extreme caution. Even clear-looking water may contain unfamiliar microorganisms. Remember that many modern edible plants evolved from toxic ancestors. Stick to succulents and cacti you can positively identify. Your survival psychology is crucial. Maintain hope by focusing on small achievements and establishing daily routines. Within 24 hours, you must create a visible signal for any potential rescue. Arrange dark rocks on light sand in a large X pattern. Keep your blade sharp using abrasive rocks. A dull blade requires more force and increases your risk of injury. You need to establish a perimeter around your shelter. Mark it with thorny branches to deter curious prehistoric creatures. Document your surroundings and survival techniques. Future anthropologists may find your notes, advancing scientific knowledge. Your long-term survival depends on adapting to this ancient environment. Study the patterns of weather, wildlife, and vegetation. Remember that common survival rules still apply. The rule of threes: 3 minutes without air, 3 hours without shelter, 3 days without water. Your knowledge of medicinal plants may need adjustment. Test any potential remedies in extremely small quantities first. Stay within sight of your shelter when foraging. The Pliocene landscape can be deceptively uniform and easy to get lost in. You must maintain your tools carefully. Your modern equipment will be irreplaceable in this prehistoric environment. Your immediate priority is securing shelter from the harsh Pliocene elements. You have less than 2 hours before sunset. Scan your surroundings for natural rock formations or large cacti clusters that can provide protection from wind and predators. You must gather fallen succulent leaves and fibrous plant materials quickly. These will form your bedding and insulation. Check your time machine wreckage for any salvageable materials. Metal sheets and fabric can become vital shelter components. Your shelter needs to be at least 3 feet off the ground to avoid prehistoric insects and small creatures that emerge at night. Start collecting large rocks to create a raised platform. Stack them carefully to prevent collapse during your sleep. You'll need to weave succulent fibers into cordage. Strip the leaves into thin strands and twist them into strong rope. Water is critical. You must find it within 12 hours. Look for low-lying areas where prehistoric water sources might still exist. Examine large cacti for water content. You can carefully cut sections to extract liquid, but beware of toxic varieties. Your blade tool is essential for survival. Keep it clean and dry to prevent rust in the humid Pliocene atmosphere. Create a water collection system using large leaves. Morning dew can provide up to 2 cups of fresh water daily. You must test all water sources before drinking. Let it settle in a container and look for signs of contamination. Fire starting is crucial but challenging in this oxygen-rich environment. Clear a 10-foot diameter area of all vegetation. Your steel tool can create sparks. Gather fine, dry plant fibers and create a tinder nest away from your shelter. Be extremely cautious with fire. The Pliocene atmosphere contains higher oxygen levels that make flames spread rapidly. Signal for rescue by creating 3 separate smoke signals, spaced 50 feet apart to be visible from above. You should treat any cuts immediately. The prehistoric environment contains unknown bacteria that could be deadly. Examine local plants for medicinal properties. Look for aloe-like succulents that can help with wound healing. Your survival psychology is crucial. Maintain a daily routine and keep a log of your activities to stay mentally focused. Track the sun's position and create a basic sundial. Understanding time passage is vital for rescue coordination. You must establish a perimeter 100 feet around your shelter. Mark it with distinctive patterns for navigation. Create multiple caches of supplies within your perimeter. Don't keep all resources in one location. Your radio might still work. Check it every 3 hours during daylight. The time machine's emergency beacon could be functioning. Stay vigilant for prehistoric predators. Create noisemakers from dried plant materials to alert you of approaching danger. You should construct basic weapons from hardened succulent stalks. Sharpen them using your blade tool. Keep your shelter entrance facing east to catch morning sun and avoid prevailing winds. Document any unusual plant or animal species you encounter. This information could be crucial for survival. Your food supplies won't last forever. Start identifying edible succulents and cacti fruits within the first 48 hours. Remember that familiar-looking plants may be toxic prehistoric variants. Test all food sources with extreme caution. You must maintain your tools daily. Clean them with available materials and store them off the ground. Create backup fire-starting materials and store them in dry locations. You can't afford to lose your fire source. Your success depends on careful resource management. Plan each day's activities to conserve energy and supplies. Watch for changes in weather patterns. The Pliocene climate can shift dramatically without warning. Keep your emergency medical supplies dry and accessible. Infection is your biggest health risk in this environment. You should practice emergency evacuation routes from your shelter. Have 3 escape paths planned at all times. You must establish a sustainable food source within your first week. The prehistoric landscape offers both challenges and opportunities. Scan your surroundings for cacti species. Many are edible and contain vital moisture. You'll need to carefully remove the spines before consumption. Your survival knife will be essential for harvesting succulent flesh. Remove the outer layer and cut into small pieces to test for edibility. Watch for signs of prehistoric mammals near water sources. Their behavior patterns will help you locate reliable food and water. You need to create a permanent shelter using available materials. Look for natural cave formations in the mountain range for protection. Test unknown plants using the universal edibility test. Rub on skin first, wait 24 hours, then try a small taste. Your life depends on caution. Construct drying racks for any meat you acquire. The hot, arid climate will naturally preserve food for long-term storage. Your medical kit is limited, so you must learn to identify medicinal succulents. Aloe-like plants can treat burns and wounds. Create a daily routine of foraging during cooler morning hours. The intense prehistoric sun makes midday activities dangerous. You should maintain a clean water source within 100 meters of your shelter. Filter through layers of sand, charcoal, and cloth. Document edible and poisonous plants you discover. Your survival knowledge will grow more valuable with each passing day. Keep your shelter entrance facing east to avoid prevailing winds. You'll need protection from both weather and potential predators. Practice fire starting daily. Your steel tools are irreplaceable. Create backup methods using friction and dried succulent fibers. Your radio may not work, but its components can be valuable. Use mirrors and metal pieces for signaling or tool making. Monitor your health carefully. Any cuts or infections can become lethal without modern medicine. Keep wounds clean and covered. Build elevated storage platforms to protect food from prehistoric scavengers. Even small creatures can devastate your supplies. You must maintain physical fitness through regular exercise. Your ability to climb and run could mean the difference between life and death. Create weapons for hunting and defense using your blade and local materials. Sharp succulent spines can become effective projectiles. Store extra water in hollow succulent segments. The natural properties of these plants help keep water fresh for several days. Your psychological health is crucial. Maintain a journal, establish routines, and set daily goals to preserve mental stability. Remember that every tool you create reduces dependency on your limited modern supplies. Innovation becomes your greatest asset. Watch for seasonal changes in vegetation patterns. Your food sources will shift as prehistoric plants follow ancient growth cycles. You should establish multiple caches of supplies within a day's walk of your shelter. Never risk losing everything to a single disaster. Practice navigation using stars and landmarks daily. Your ability to return to shelter could be compromised by changing landscapes. Learn to read prehistoric weather patterns. Cloud formations and wind changes can warn you of approaching storms or temperature shifts. Your long-term survival depends on adapting to this ancient environment. Study everything, waste nothing, and remain vigilant. Create backup tools before you desperately need them. Your original equipment will eventually fail despite careful maintenance. Develop methods to preserve and store medicinal plants. Future injuries or illness may occur when fresh specimens aren't available. Your knowledge of modern survival must evolve to match prehistoric challenges. What works today might fail in this ancient setting. Remember that you're not just surviving, you're learning to thrive in humanity's distant past. Each day brings new understanding. Notice your time machine's power cells beginning to fail, the familiar hum growing fainter with each passing hour. Your navigation systems flicker erratically, compass spinning wildly in this ancient magnetic field that differs from home. Examine your remaining supplies carefully. You have perhaps 3 days of emergency rations left if carefully rationed. Watch the unfamiliar constellations wheel overhead. Their patterns shifted millions of years from what you once knew. You must accept that rescue is impossible. No one will come searching across this vast gulf of time. Study the prehistoric plants around you. Some succulents appear similar enough to modern species to be safe food sources. Test each new plant carefully, touching a small amount to your skin first to check for adverse reactions. Your medical supplies are running low. Prioritize treating only the most serious injuries now. The steel blade has grown dull from constant use, and your attempts to sharpen it yield diminishing returns. Listen to the strange calls of ancient birds, their songs both familiar and alien in this primordial landscape. Your shelter's synthetic fabric is degrading under the harsh Pliocene sun, developing tears you can no longer properly repair. Conserve your remaining cord. You've used nearly half already and cannot replace this crucial resource. The radio crackles with nothing but static, its power cells failing like everything else from your time. Your knowledge of medicinal plants helps less each day, as evolution has yet to produce the species you once knew. Track the movements of unfamiliar predators, noting how their hunting patterns differ from modern animals. Find peace in small moments, the sunrise painting ancient skies, wind through prehistoric grass, distant volcanic peaks. Your emergency beacon signal grows weaker, its last electrons trickling away into this ancient atmosphere. Accept that your survival skills, while keeping you alive this long, cannot sustain you indefinitely. Watch your footprints fade in the prehistoric soil, temporary marks in time that will vanish like all traces of your presence. The ancient air feels cleaner, richer in oxygen than what you knew. Perhaps this makes your final breath sweeter. Your thoughts drift to home, 5 million years and countless lives yet to exist in this world's future. Feel the ancient earth beneath you, knowing you'll become part of its long story, returning to the dust of deep time. The stars wheel overhead one last time, their light reaching you across millions of years, welcoming you home.